Have you ever looked in the mirror after 65 and quietly wondered if anyone still truly sees you? Not just your reflection, not the surface of who you are, but the woman beneath, the history in your eyes, the ache in your smile, the story etched in every delicate line of your skin. Maybe the house is quieter these days. The phone doesn't ring as often. Conversations at gatherings seem to float past you like you're standing just outside the circle. And there are moments, maybe when you're brushing your hair in the morning or washing your face at night, when a flicker of doubt passes through you. Am I still beautiful? Do I still matter? Do I still glow in a world that seems to value youth like it's the only kind of beauty that exists? You're not alone if you've asked those questions. So many women carry that silent ache. But today, I want to show you something different. Not something new, something that's been with you all along. Something beautiful. Something perhaps you've simply forgotten to see. You see, beauty at this stage of life is not loud. It doesn't clamor for attention. It doesn't ask for approval. It doesn't need to. It's in the way you walk into a room and bring calm with you. It's in the strength behind your softness. It's in your ability to listen without interrupting, to forgive without demanding anything in return. It's in your laughter, seasoned, genuine, and free. In this video, I'm going to share 5 signs that reveal just how stunning you really are. And no, we're not talking about mascara tricks or miracle serums. We're going deeper into the soul of what makes a woman radiant in her 60s, 70s, and beyond. These signs might surprise you. They aren't based on trends or what the magazines say you should be. They're rooted in experience, in quiet strength, in grace that cannot be imitated. This is about you, the real you. The one who has endured, grown, evolved. The one who has faced heartbreak and healing, silence and song. The woman who has learned to carry the weight of life with a certain kind of elegance only time can teach. So sit back, pour yourself a cup of tea. Let the afternoon light warm your face. Because you're not invisible. And you're certainly not done blooming. Sign number 1. You've grown comfortable with silence. You know, there's something most people don't talk about when it comes to growing older. Something unexpected, but quietly powerful. Do you remember when silence used to feel awkward? Really think about it. When you were younger, you probably rushed to fill every gap in conversation. At dinners, in car rides, even sitting alone. If there wasn't noise, something must have been wrong. Maybe you turned the TV on just to have voices in the room. Or maybe you talked too much just to avoid that feeling, the weight of stillness. It's funny how silence used to feel like judgment. Like emptiness. But somewhere along the way, without even noticing, you stopped fearing it. You started to savor it. That shift didn't come overnight, did it? No, it happened slowly, subtly. It came after the chaos. After the years of chasing approval, keeping the peace, holding your tongue, or filling every waking hour with someone else's needs. It came after the noise. And now you sit with your tea in the morning and just breathe. No one asking for breakfast. No meetings. No schedules unless you decide them. Just you. And the sound of nothing. But it's not really nothing, is it? It's the birds. The wind brushing the trees. It's the hum of the refrigerator. The clink of a spoon against your favorite mug. And underneath it all, the steady rhythm of your own heart no longer racing for anyone else. How beautiful is that? You've grown into a space where silence isn't loneliness. It's peace. You don't need to prove anything in a room anymore. You don't have to tell your story just to be heard. You don't have to entertain. You can sit with someone in complete quiet and feel entirely whole. And if they get uncomfortable, that's about them, not you. Because now your presence speaks louder than your words. There's a kind of grace in that. A power that comes with age, not the aggressive kind, but the soft, steady, grounding kind. You've become the eye of the storm. The one others are drawn to without knowing why. The one whose calm says more than any clever remark ever could. Do you feel that in yourself? You're no longer rushing to explain. No longer apologizing for taking up space. You just are. You exist with intention now. And that comfort with silence, it's not small. It's not invisible. It radiates. Tells the world, I know myself. I trust myself. I don't need to fill the air just to feel worthy. I wonder, have you noticed how people start opening up around you more these days? It's because you give them space. Your silence is not cold. It's welcoming. It says, you don't have to perform here. You can just be. And that, my friend, is rare. It's stunning. It's something women half your age are still chasing. They scroll through social media looking for peace. They chase trends, affirmations, self-help books. But you found it in the quiet. Think about a moment recently when you sat in silence and felt good. Not bored, not anxious, just present. Maybe it was on your porch at sunrise, or lying in bed with the window open. Maybe it was watching your grandchild sleep, or just walking through the grocery store without needing to rush. These moments are golden, and they're often overlooked. But this comfort with silence you've grown into, it's a sign of emotional freedom, of deep self-respect, of having nothing left to prove. And you might not see it when you look in the mirror, but others feel it. It draws people in, not because you're loud, not because you sparkle or dazzle, but because your peace is magnetic. You've done the work, you've weathered the storms, and now you sit in stillness like a woman who knows exactly who she is. That's not just beautiful, that's stunning. So tell me, when was the last time you sat in complete quiet and felt whole? Let yourself feel that again. And remember, not everyone reaches this place. Many keep running their whole lives, but you've arrived, and that makes you rare and absolutely radiant. Sign number 2, you embrace your wisdom. Have you ever noticed how often someone turns to you, not for answers necessarily, but for presence, for guidance, for a word that only you could speak? It happens quietly, sometimes in the middle of a conversation that started about nothing. Other times in the way someone lingers after everyone else has left the room. They stay, hoping you'll say something they didn't know they needed to hear. You probably don't think much of it. You might even brush it off. Oh, I'm just rambling, you'll say with a little smile. But you're not. You're doing something sacred. You're passing on wisdom. Not facts. Not instructions. Not trendy quotes pulled from a screen. Real wisdom. The kind that only comes from living. You've been through things. More than most people will ever know. And you didn't just survive, you learned. And here's the beautiful part. Now, without even trying, you're becoming the woman others look to. The one who speaks with calm when everything feels uncertain. The one who offers a gentle truth that makes someone pause, take a breath and realize it's going to be okay. Maybe it's your adult daughter. She calls you after a long day, not because she wants you to fix anything, but because your voice feels like home. Or your niece who's going through her first heartbreak and listens a little longer when you speak. Or maybe it's a young woman at church or in the neighborhood who always seems to find her way to you, drawn by something she can't quite name. She calls it comfort. She calls it kindness. But what she's really drawn to is your wisdom. And you wear it beautifully. It's in your stories, the ones you didn't know had value. The way you recall a lesson from a time before smartphones, before fast answers. It's in the way you say, I've been there, and mean it. The way you admit your mistakes and laugh at them now. The way you remind people that being human is messy, and that's okay. That kind of truth is rare, is healing, and it's something no cream, no surgery, no filter can ever give. Wisdom settles into your posture, your tone, your gaze. It's in the way you look at someone and really see them. The way you can tell, without being told, when someone's holding back tears. It's in the way you hold space for others even when your heart's a little tired. And what's so incredible about it all is that you don't even realize you're doing it. You say something kind, something ordinary, and someone clutches it like gold. Because it is gold. You've earned every bit of it. Through mistakes and miracles, through late nights and early mornings, through loss and love and long walks back to yourself. And now it spills out of you quietly, humbly you. Like a well that never runs dry. You may not wear a crown. You may not have a stage. But make no mistake, people listen when you speak. And why? Because your voice carries weight. And not the kind that shouts or demands attention, but the kind that says, I know the path. I've walked it. And I'm still here. There's such strength in that. Such power. That's beauty, in its purest form. And maybe you've never seen it that way. Maybe you've thought, oh, I'm just a mother, or just a friend, or just someone who's lived a little longer. But you are so much more than just anything. You are the keeper of stories, the one who remembers what really matters, the one who knows that love takes work, that forgiveness is a daily practice, and that time, though it takes much, also gives more than we ever expect. You've become a quiet guide in a world that's loud with noise and shallow with answers. And I'll tell you something. Every person who's ever leaned in closer when you start to speak, they see it. They feel it. They know that in your presence, they're standing near something sacred. Your wisdom is your radiance. It's not flashy. It's not loud, but it leaves a mark. And that makes you truly stunning. Sign number 3, you own your authenticity. There's something breathtaking about a woman who's finally decided she's done pretending. Not out of anger, not out of rebellion, but out of peace. That quiet kind of peace that whispers, this is who I am. And I'm not hiding anymore. Have you felt that shift? It's subtle at first. Maybe you caught yourself laughing louder than usual with friends who don't make you shrink. Or maybe it was the day you looked in the mirror and saw the silver in your hair, and instead of dyeing it away, you let it shine. Maybe it was when you started painting again, or took a dance class, or wore the bold color you once told yourself wasn't age-appropriate. That phrase, age-appropriate. How many years did we spend trying to live inside that little box? Careful not to be too loud, too wild, too emotional, too ambitious, too visible? We were taught to take up just enough space, not too much. Be agreeable, be neat, be quiet. But something changes after a while. Somewhere between heartbreak and healing, between loss and self-discovery. You begin to realize that the only permission you ever really needed was your own. And so you start showing up differently. You stop apologizing for being too much or too little. You start wearing your story, in your smile, in your clothes, in your choices, in the way you move through a room without explaining yourself. Because you've earned it. Every line, every scar, every truth. It's not that you don't care what people think anymore, it's just that you care more about what you think. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman I once met in a small town bookstore. She was probably in her late 60s, wearing this wildly colorful scarf and bright red lipstick. Her hair was thick and unapologetically gray. She was laughing loudly, joyfully at something her friend said, and people turned to look. But she didn't flinch. She didn't shrink. She turned to me and said with the biggest grin, I used to worry about standing out. Now I hope I do. That kind of freedom? That's what authenticity looks like. Not perfection. Not polished edges. But the kind of confidence that says, this is me and I'm not editing myself for anyone anymore. And here's the powerful thing. When you embrace who you are, you give others permission to do the same. Your laughter becomes contagious. Your boldness becomes inspiring. Your presence becomes healing. Because real beauty? It's never been about looking a certain way. It's about being yourself fully, boldly, lovingly. It's wearing that old jean jacket that feels like home even if the fashion blogs say it's out of style. It's saying what you mean gently but clearly. It's dancing in the kitchen to music that lights you up. It's letting people see the real you, the one who cries during commercials, who's still learning, who's still dreaming. Do you know how magnetic that is? Not because it's loud or perfect or polished, but because it's true. And truth is rare and irresistible, especially in a world obsessed with masks. So let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself here. Have you done something recently that felt totally you? Something that made you laugh or sigh with relief for, say, yes, that's who I am. Maybe it was a bold outfit, a risky conversation, a solo trip, a new hobby, or simply saying no without guilt. I'd love to hear about it. Truly. Leave me a comment below, just one sentence. One bold thing you've done lately that made you feel like you. I read every single one, and I promise your story matters. Sign number 4. You've loved and lost, and still choose to love yourself. Love leaves a mark. Sometimes it's a soft one, a tender memory, a warm glance, a laugh that echoes through your favorite room. But sometimes, the mark love leaves feels more like a scar. Not ugly, not shameful, just real. Because when you've loved deeply, you've risked everything. And sometimes you've lost. Maybe it was a partner. A marriage that quietly ended while you were still trying to hold it together. Maybe it was someone who passed, who held your hand through decades and left you with their favorite coffee mug and a silence that never quite fades. Or maybe it's your children, grown now, distant sometimes, not by choice, but by life, time. Whatever it was, it left a space. And in that space, something unexpected began to grow. Resilience. Not the kind that marches forward loudly. No. I'm talking about the kind that gets out of bed, pours the tea, and sits with the ache. The kind that folds the laundry even though the other side of the bed stays empty. The kind that says, I miss them, but I'm still here. Have you ever stood in front of a mirror, alone in the quiet, and whispered to yourself, I don't know how I made it through that, but you did. You did. And that right there is stunning. Because grief doesn't ask for permission. It takes up space. It changes your name. Some days it feels like a fog. Other days like a weight you carry in your chest. And yet you still laugh. Maybe not as loud as before, but it comes. You still cry honest, cleansing tears that don't beg for pity, just understanding. You still reach out. You still show up. You didn't stop living. You didn't let the pain write the final chapter. You chose something sacred, yourself. I want to tell you a story. A woman I knew, Jeanette, lost her husband after 41 years. 41 years of morning coffee, quiet arguments, family dinners, anniversaries marked with grocery store roses. When he passed, she didn't speak for days. Just sat by the window in his old sweater. But slowly she began to paint again. She painted everything. Rain on glass. Her garden in spring. Her face in a mirror with the truth of time etched across it. She said to me once, he loved me in every season. Now it's my turn. Her turn to love herself. That's what you've done too. Even when it was hard. Even when your heart ached. Even when the world moved on faster than you were ready to. You chose to keep loving. And not just others, but yourself. Maybe that meant signing up for a book club where no one knew your story. Or lighting a candle at dinner, even though you now dine alone. Maybe it was letting go of the guilt, the what-ifs, the could-be beans. Maybe it was the moment you realized that your heart still had more to give. More laughter, more tears, more beginnings. Because yes, you've lost, but you're not lost. You are becoming. Every morning you wake up and face the day, that is strength. Every time you choose kindness when you could have chosen bitterness, that is power. And every time you whisper to yourself, I'm still here. I still matter. That is beauty. The kind that makes people stop in their tracks. The world may not always see the depth of what you've carried. The anniversaries you remember quietly. The birthdays that feel heavier now. The scent in a coat closet that brings tears unexpectedly. But I see it. And more importantly, you do. You are not broken. You are not used up. You are not past your prime. You are seasoned, brave, open-hearted in a world that tells women to close off after a certain age. So, if no one has told you lately, I see how far you've come. I honor your pain. I celebrate your healing. Sign number 5, you radiate presence. There's something about you when you walk into a room. You don't have to say a word. You don't have to wear the bold colors or wave your arms to be noticed. You don't compete. You don't chase attention. And yet people look. People pause. There's a stillness to you, a grace. It's not something you bought in a bottle. It's not something stitched into the seams of your clothing. It's something you've earned. It's presence. And my goodness, how rare that is. You might not even know it's there. You may not recognize the quiet power you hold just by being yourself. But believe me, it's real. And it's unforgettable. I saw it recently in a woman at a birthday party. She was a grandmother sitting near the end of the table, not talking much, just watching her family laugh, soaking it all in. There was a softness in her smile, like she had known great joy and great sorrow, and now she simply held both without needing to explain either. The whole room seemed to bend around her like light. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She wasn't performing. But the moment she reached out and touched her granddaughter's hand just lightly, everything else faded. Because there was love in that touch. History. Strength. That's what presence is. It's in the way you carry yourself when you're out in the world. Maybe walking through the market or on your way to meet a friend. You walk with intention, not hurried, not hesitant. Just steady. Your eyes meet someone else's and there's a spark of kindness, not the kind that begs to be noticed, but the kind that says, I see you. I've lived some life. And I still believe in goodness. People feel that. They feel the peace you've fought for. The calm you've earned. The confidence that comes not from perfection, but from embracing your imperfections. You radiate something that can't be faked. Something deeper than beauty, though make no mistake, it is beautiful. It's the kind of beauty that lingers long after you've left the room. It's in the laugh lines, the silver hair, the posture that says, I know who I am, and I like her. And here's the part no one tells you. When you're younger, people might notice your appearance first. Your style, your sparkle. But as you age, something shifts. What captivates people most isn't how you look, but how you are. It's your stillness in a chaotic world. It's your grace when someone else gets loud or impatient and you simply smile because you've seen enough to know it's not worth your peace. It's how you ask someone how they really are and mean it. It's how you listen. How you remember the little things. How you don't just speak, you offer truth. And when you walk away, people feel better than they did before. Even if they don't know why. That's presence. And the best part? You don't need to chase it. You already have it. Every time you choose to be exactly who you are, without apologizing, without shrinking, without needing approval, you shine. Every time you laugh freely, without worrying who's watching. Every time you pause to enjoy a moment others rush past. You light up the world in ways you may never fully see. And I want you to know, the world needs that light. We don't need louder voices. We need deeper ones. We don't need more polished performances. We need more realness. We need you, just as you are. So if you've ever wondered, do I still matter? Do I still turn heads? Do I still leave a mark? The answer is yes. But not because you shouted. Not because you sparkled the loudest. Because you stood there, fully present, fully you. And that's unforgettable. Now, before we end this moment together, take a breath. Let it sink in. You don't have to be anything other than who you already are. You are stunning. You are grounded. And your presence is a gift. Thank you for letting me remind you. Which of these signs did you see in yourself? Or maybe all 5. Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video reminded you of a beautiful woman in your life, subscribe, like, and share it with her.